Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madmen with a Box Live, episode 103. We've been doing this for over 100 episodes now. It's a wonder. Joining me, as sometimes always, is Landry Q. Walker.
Hello. Lately, a lot. Recently, frequently.
Recently, frequently. That's right. Slightly more sometimes is the Joe of the Corrallos.
It's true.
It's true. And of
more
course,
Joe.
back again is a Javane below.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
All right. Today we're going to be ranking all of season 1 of Doctor. No, not that one. No, not that one either. The newest one. Season 1, the roughest season 1 they've had because everyone keeps calling it Series 14. But before that, we have to talk about a little bit of news. I swear, just a little bit. There's some rumors going around that the war between the land and the sea, we brought that up in a past live stream. It's going to be a 5-part spinoff series, and apparently it could be directed by the 73 Yards, but also the Dot and Bubble director, Dylan Holmes Williams.
So wait. Dot and Bubble and 73 Yards. 73 Yards, one of the worst episodes of the series. And Dot and Bubble, one of the best episodes in a long time, had the same director. Yeah, I guess everyone has a bad day. But, I mean, that Dot and Bubble is brilliant. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
See, you just have to think about it like this. 73 Yards looked really good.
It's pretty.
Yep.
All right. Other than that, Big Finish has some things they wanted to tell us. Number 1 is the Sirens of Time Redux. They're putting this out to go ahead and celebrate, 25 years of Big Finish? And it's going to be an edited version, so that way it's one concise story, just a big epic. They basically made a movie cut like people did for the Obi-Wan series. Or the 3 Hobbits films. Sirens of Time. And this is the cover. It's an okay story. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing the voice of Chris coming in and talking in barely comprehensible Australian about the Big Finish. I wouldn't understand him because I don't speak.
Aussie.
But,
that's right.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
Knifey spoony. But I feel like we have lost currently. I mean, he'll be back, but lost this voice of Big Finish passion.
All right.
Here.
I know. But there is an exciting bit of news. They are doing a live stage show of one of the newest audio adventure that they're going to be doing called The Stuff of Legend. It's going to have Alex McQueen's Master, Nicholas Briggs as the Daleks, and it's going to be Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and Charlie Fisher. It's going to be on stage, but while it's also releasing on stage at first, it's going to be also on the Big Finish app. So you can listen to that, or you can see it live in person if you're close in the area. I don't know. Tickets go on sale soon, I think.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's not going to be in my area.
No, it's not. Yeah. But I had to go ahead and bring it up. The Stuff of Legend, what a title. It's not a great title.
I want an action figure of that Buzzsaw Dalek, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the news that we have for this week. Other than that, I guess we could go ahead and get right into the rankings.
Okay.
So we have a tier list, and I've gone ahead and edited a little bit for our fun. And I have a multitude of them open. So we can each go ahead and rank them. Top, the best Who Can Who, followed by Solid Who. In the middle, you have It's Who That'll Do. So it's not the best. It's not the worst. It's still Doctor Who. And then right below that is You Call That Who? And then Dr. Y.
Okay.
I feel like
I have
I
opinions.
feel like You Call That Who should be at the bottom. I'm not sure why. It just feels like.
I feel like those are really two of the same. I think that those are the same category largely. But I'm game. Let's do this. I have opinions.
You're
like to talk.
first,
Sure.
Andrew. We'll go you, then
All
and I'll
right.
be last.
I made a list.
How are you? How are you? Are you doing
One at
them
a time.
in order of release or order of ranking?
I'm set up to do ranking because I don't know.
Okay.
I'll forget what order they were released. So I was going to start with the best Who Can Who. For me,
Okay.
obviously, because I'm the one speaking. I go with both the Devil's Chord and Dot and Bubble for me are really, right there. They're right up there for me. I felt like particularly Dot and Bubble was it's in my top whatever of Doctor Who episodes. I liked it that much. I found there to be very little flaw. The Devil's Chord, I thought, really expanded on a pantheon of beings that I found really interesting, was handled very well with amazing performances, and of course, the most terrible casting for the Beatles I could ever have imagined, but that was fine. So that was really good. Solid Who, Rogue, I thought was very good. I thought that it was the thing that it wanted to be. Now, I am one of those fans that has never been a fan of seeing the Doctor in any relationship explored. But just like Madame Pompadour was an amazing. What was that one? The one with her. I don't remember the title.
Girl in the Fireplace.
Right. Just like that was an amazing episode, despite covering a topic I wasn't particularly interested in. This one was as well. I thought the actors had great chemistry. I found the story really engaging. The aliens very interesting. So it's Solid Who. The only reason it's not up there higher is I felt it retread the Captain Jack Harkness intro a bit too much for my taste. It's Who That'll Do feels a little harsh for this one, but that's about right. Is Boom. The only, honestly, I found the concept fine. I like the Doctor being pinned down in this one space. What really made this episode and almost ranked it as Solid Who was the Doctor's performance was just really, really good in this one. You Call That Who? It's The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which I did not care for particularly. Okay. And I will say nothing else about it because it is so long ago now that I'm like, yeah, I know there was a ladder and rope.
Wait. The Legend of Ruby Sunday?
No, I'm mixing up. Wait, which one is the Church on Ruby Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one is the Legend of Ruby Sunday? That's the second to last one.
That's the one before Empire of Death.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, You Call That Who is the Church on Ruby Road. And that leaves I'll actually put just because I'm feeling generous, The Legend of Ruby Sunday will go there as well. It did not engage me. It did not interest me. I found it kind of disjointed, and I found the song really grating. I saw ways they could have fixed it, though. It was there were things that really could have pulled it together. That leaves Dr. Y, Space Babies. Did not work for me, but I'm not a baby person, so Empire of Death and 73 yards. 73 yards I thought was tedious, pointless, and banal. Now maybe they will bring something that causes me to revise this opinion, but I at the same time, if I have to wait a year for it, Dr. Y, why do I want it? And then Empire of Death had a couple of scenes that were the best Who can do. Just the Doctor, the TARDIS dragging a god behind it through the vortex with the Doctor screaming at it in triumph was fantastic, but it wasn't enough to bring this episode out of the bottom column. So that's where I landed with these.
Okay, that's I can respect some of that. I see we'll have some disagreements. We'll have some disagreements coming up, and you're gonna really hate one of them. But okay, let's go to Joe of the Corrallos.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought about this and a little bit, and some of my thoughts might change compared to how I talked about the episodes before. But you know what? For the best Who can do, you know, Landry kind of won me over on Dot and Bubble. Like I'll put Dot and Bubble there.
Okay.
That did happen. So I've watched it again, and it's that would have been solid Who, but honestly, it's like no, I'll do that. No.
So this is Russell T Davies' best writing of the season for you.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean by virtue of that. So like for solid Who, there was a decent amount for me for solid Who. I'll do Rogue, Boom, and the Devil's Cord. So like
you and I are pretty aligned so far here.
Yeah. For Who it'll do, let's just the Church on Ruby Road, just that one.
Okay.
I found that very middle of the road. Let's do. You call that Who? Definitely the Legend of Ruby Sunday, and it's really borderline, but I'll put 73 yards there too. The tavern scene was one of the best scenes of the whole season, I thought. But yeah, and then Space Babies, Empire of Death, Dr. Y for sure.
Poor Space Babies. No, poor Space Babies. It sucked.
Yeah, no. What I like at least like the series for me was like an inside, like a shit sandwich, but the shit's the bread. So I guess that's good. It depends how stacked the sandwich is, I guess.
No, I don't think you can save that sandwich.
Don't add cheese. Not cheese.
I want to revisit. I do agree. The tavern scene was very well done. I loved the tavern scene, even though I did not like that episode. I really did like the tavern scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Javane.
All right, so I guess I'll start with Dr. Y and work my way up to a high note. For me, I'd have to put in Dr. Y Space Babies.
Okay.
Even though I do like any story where somebody just decides to be brave. I'm not a big fan of cowardice. Legend of Ruby Sunday.
Okay.
And Empire of Death.
Okay.
Because I just thought in terms of a finale and a way to end a season, that two-parter just did nothing. It just really paid off nothing. It did nothing. It set nothing up, and was very disappointed with it. You call that Who? 73 yards would go there. That would have been Dr. Y, but I agree about the tavern scene. I thought the tavern scene kind of set something up that could have been interesting, but then as it went on, it wasn't even like a poor man's turn left. It was just a pointless turn left. And again, I agree with if they. I think it was Landry Joe. If they pay it off like next season somehow, that's fine. But
Yeah.
When it turned out that it was just Ruby, it was like really that you almost saw that coming. So I wasn't big on 73 yards. I will put in this Who That'll Do. I'll put The Church on Ruby Road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I thought it was at least an okay intro to the Doctor and Ruby. At least it was okay in sort of setting things up with the Mrs. Flood, what that was about. I won't hold the rest of the season against it. And I actually thought the Goblin song, I actually enjoyed it for no other reason than annoy the rest of my family. And then for Solid Who, I'll put Double Chord, Boom. I will put Rogue there reluctantly, only because I'm not a huge fan of Bridgerton, and I didn't like the whole cosplay thing, but I did like how they paid off the whole battle mode with the Air. I was like, you guys are not doing nothing, so I like the way they paid that off. And then of course how everything resolves in the end with him not realizing she's the actual Ruby, so on and so forth. And then Dot and Bubble goes in best who can who. Yeah. Only because any episode where you have a character who basically knows she should do better, but sticks to her guns anyway, and even as she's floating off in a boat, knows damn well it's like, come with us, but she's just stuck in her ways. I love tragedy like that. And the fact that she sold my man out, I can't remember his name at the beginning, who basically
that was brutal.
It just sold him out like a brother. But it was just enough of the Doctor hoping. It's probably quintessential Doctor. He sees the best in everyone and is hoping for it, and it's just someone who brutally disappoints him in the end. So I think that's why definitely the best who can. He tried.
Okay. All right. That leaves me and Ashawn. I'll read out your list here in a minute, and Landry will eat you alive after you.
It's pretty crazy that the three of us so far have a very similar-ish listing.
Very close.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. The best who can who. I'm going to go ahead and put Devil's Court up there. I thought it was a fantastic sequel to The Giggle, even though it was early, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a continuation of what that starts with Toy Maker's End. I loved that episode. It was astoundingly good. I can't remember what I ranked it out of 10. I don't think any of us can remember that. But it's great. Dot and Bubble, I really can't believe I'm putting it up here because I thought for a long while, but Landry has something in the water, I guess. And you don't want it to be.
So what was your hesitation about Dot and Bubble?
Yeah.
So Dot and Bubble it is a very good episode. It's surprising how good it was because it did not look like it was going to be. But all throughout you're dragged through, those slugs are disturbing as you're seeing them pull people in, and then the ending with where racism is the true evil all along. It did hit. You felt that dread, and the Doctor's like, "Okay, I still want to save you. Just let me save you." But their ignorance, their hate, they go, and there's nothing you can do.
Well, can I jump in real quick? I don't mean to interrupt, but there's a thing about this. A friend of mine who's been a Doctor Who fan for 40 years or whatever came by, and he hasn't been watching any of the new Doctor Who since about Matt Smith. And even that he's only gotten into recently. And he is black, and he was concerned. He's like, how are they going to do this with the Doctor being black and going through 2 different time zones? How are they going to deal with race and all of this? And I said, well, they got into it, but not the way you'd expect them to. And I thought that, I hadn't really thought about it in those terms because I have the benefit of a privilege of being white and not thinking about it in those terms and going, oh yeah, so they must have known they were going to be tackling that. And I do hope they get into it more, but they handled it. They came out of nowhere with it, and they hit it really powerfully they presented that episode in such a silly way with this silly threat, horrific, but still for comedy. It was played for laugh. And then the real horror of this episode was racism. I thought, wow. So I was explaining that to him, and that got him a little more interested in giving the show a chance, because he wasn't that inclined, because he thought they'd get more tropey with it. And while I do actually think they should get into more of that, because I'd like to see him dealing with some of the more real world ramifications. At the same time, what a brilliant way to hit us with it when we don't expect it. Because like the Rosa Parks episode hit us in all the ways we expect. So it was just like, what? This, it felt preachy. This blindsided in comparison.
I'm going to go ahead and just say, Chris is saying hello from Japan. Yes, it's good to see you, you mad Australian, though we can't understand you.
I can't really even understand his text. It's like, it must be a
let me translate.
polar thing, you know.
He says he can watch the No. The finale.
Finale-nallies.
That's right.
Tell me what finale-nallies are. And it's some Australian thing.
Just don't do it, Chris.
Right? Don't.
Just don't. That's my genuine.
I'm sorry to hijack your listing. It was just when we started talking about that. It was an interesting conversation yesterday about that.
Yeah, it's the fact that they went in it through class and they explored it through this class thing as opposed to just like doing under the nose about race. I mean, I liked the Rose episode. I enjoyed it. I thought for my daughter, who tends to not like dealing with like basically slavery and Jim Crow and stuff like that, for her to be able to watch that and kind of like sit through it and kind of get it without being like traumatized.
Yeah.
The way, but I get what you're saying. It's like it can happen in a variety of ways, and I think that's clever about Dot and Bubble.
Yeah, and hitting you when you don't expect it to hit you, rather than, okay, let's sit down and watch this. This is going to be about this. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for that, because I do think they should get into that. But this had power because we weren't expecting it.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I really do respect the episode. I respect an episode with Dr. P, because it is surprisingly that good. It is the best Who Can Who. And you know what? I was thinking that I would put this in Solid Who, but Boom for me really did hit. It's the return of one of my favorite writers, and I really think it's just a fantastic episode. There's nothing that I can personally say, oh, well, that could have been done better compared to some of the other episodes that I'll be bringing up here. So yeah, that's my best Who Can Who. To Solid Who, I'm going to put The Church on Ruby Road, actually. I thought it was a fantastic season opener. It wasn't a great Christmas special, but for this to be the new Rose, for example, it was better for me than Rose was. Because if I had just watched Rose, I would not be into Doctor Who. that had me turning off the screen so fast.
Really?
Really. Could not stand Rose. I'm sorry. I could
You're
look back.
You are not alone in some circles, my friend.
Oh, okay, that's good. But The Church on Ruby Road, it hit in ways that just, I was like, wow, this is a good start. And then we got Space Babies after that. That was very disappointing. Going like solid, down, and then up again to the highest of heights. It's astounding. But The Church on Ruby Road is really solid to me. The song didn't bother me. It really didn't. Even with the Doctor and Ruby getting involved, she's musically inclined. And I liked the hint of, oh, well, they go ahead, they use rope, empathic rope, and that's their form of technology. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I hope they play with this concept more. They don't. Following that, Solid Who, I'm going to put Rogue. It is a really solid episode. I don't care for the Doctor in romantic situations, and I don't think this is the best example of it, like Landry does. I'll admit. River Song is still up there for me. But this was a very solid episode. I loved the aliens wanting to go ahead and just play around with the planet. It was great. It was a better Slitheen. Following that, it's Who That'll Do, and I'm actually going to put 73 yards. Because for me, 73 yards, even though it's lacking in some areas, it's leaving too many questions open. I still remember enjoying every moment of that intrigue. I really did. And
You're better than me.
Yeah. So for me, it's Who That Will Do. I'm going to be getting Chris's rankings here in a minute, and we will discuss it. You call that Who? I'm going to put Space Babies. Looking back, I was really harsh the first time I watched it. It's not a good episode by any means, but it's not as bad as that first watch was. The Legend of Ruby Sunday is also going up there because it's a solid start of a two-parter. There's a reason why Empire of Death is in Dr. Y. It is the worst episode of this season. It completely fails any hope of saving that starter. So I have hope in the Legend of Ruby Sunday, and then that hope is killed in the Empire of Death. Yeah, that's my ranking. And I'll go ahead and I'll use this board for. I already had 5 up. I'll use it for Chris.
All right. Oh, has he turned his in?
He has gone ahead and sent it to me. He wrote it out, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up for Chris. Chris said that the best Who can do. He doesn't have Empire of Death because he hasn't seen it yet. Don't watch it, Chris. The best Who can do is Boom, and that's it. Following that is Solid Who with Rogue, The Devil's Cord, and Dot and Bubble.
Yeah.
It's Who That'll Do is The Church of Ruby Road, Space Babies.
What?
And 73 yards.
That damn Aussie.
And Dr. Y is the
That's a
Legend.
fair dinkum. I'm looking up Australian slang now.
Yeah, because he hasn't seen Empire of Death, he can't really rank that. I'm just going to go ahead and put it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where it goes.
He'll learn.
He'll learn the hard way. He's going to watch it.
I'm surprised at Space Babies.
I am very surprised with Space Babies. I'm surprised Boom is the only one up at the best Who can do.
Well, okay, am I right? Like, okay, can you flip through ours slowly? Like, I want to see where we are all on the top 2 ranks, the best Who and Solid Who.
Okay.
Am I right that we're all pretty much in agreement on those 4? Well, let's see.
Devil's
Boom
Cord
drops down for me. What's the next one?
This is Joe's.
Yeah.
There we are again. Okay. Next. And look, there we are, those 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Veins. There's mine.
The Church on Ruby Road snuck in there like a...
And then
virus.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're actually all pretty much on the same page on the top.
Yeah.
We mix a little on the bottom half, but the top we're all pretty similarly minded, which is surprising.
Well, we're not all completely mixed on the bottom half. We all agree that's something.
Yeah.
Chris is saying that I didn't hate Space Babies as much as you all. It's not the best, but definitely not the worst. I still don't think it's Who That'll Do.
I mean, but the fact that
talkers in here.
Yeah, but the fact that he has Legend of Ruby Sunday and Dr. Y already, it's just gonna follow. Empire Death is gonna be right.
Yeah. Sean went ahead and said for number 1, the best who can do Boom in 73 yards.
Bro.
He loved 73 yards. Following that in solid who is Rogue, the Church of Ruby Road. For who that'll do, Dot and Bubble, the Devil's Cord. You call that who? Space Baby.
This is Sean's opinions, rankings?
Yes.
You know, I'm starting to think that worry about that person there. Like,
he's just doing 3 to piss you off later.
I don't think so, actually. But you know, I'm going to get the novelization of 73 yards. I'm very interested in see what they do with that.
it should open with "I'm sorry." The first words in that book.
But yeah, so one last look. This is Landry's rankings. He did not like Space Babies. He did not like 73 yards, and he didn't like Empire of Death. But he was a little forgiving of the Legend of Ruby Sunday, and did not really care for the Church on Ruby Road. Boom is your middle. It'll do if you need to put on an episode.
It was fine. It was fine.
You really enjoyed Rogue. You think
I did. I thought Rogue was really good.
But the Devil's Cord and Dot and Bubble, that's Doctor Who for you. Yeah. Joe agrees that Space Baby is just bad.
Yeah, no.
He's rational and sane.
Sorry, Chris. Empire of Death goes in Dr. Y because it's horrible. Horrible. But the first part isn't all bad, but you still got to ask, that's what you call who, really? And 73 yards is right there by it. But you can watch an episode of watch the Church on Ruby Road, and that'll do. That's Doctor Who still. But solid Who is Rogue, Boom, and the Devil's Cord. But nothing compares to Dot and Bubble. I'll take that as a yes. Gervain did not care for Space Babies either. Or the Legend of Ruby Sunday. Or the Empire of Death. That whole finale. Kabosh. Goodbye. 73 yards. You call that who? Yeah. He doesn't call that who. But the Church on Ruby Road is who that'll do for Gervain.
Yep.
Solid Who is the Devil's Cord, Boom, Rogue, and Dot and Bubble is still up there in the best. There's only one in Dr. Y for me, and that's the Empire of Death, because that's just such a bad episode. It's such a bad second parter. I debated whether or not we should go ahead and do our rankings with the 2-parter as one story.
Right.
That's just insulting the first half of the story, which is why I put it in. You call that who? Because it has so many problems still, like Space Babies. But who that'll do for me, that is 73 yards, honestly. The intrigue is enough to bring me in. But solid Who is the Church on Ruby Road and Rogue. But we have 3 best for me. That's the Devil's Cord, Dot and Bubble, and Boom! Is anybody surprised that I put Stephen Moffat at the top?
Which one of those did he write?
Boom.
That's what was wrong with it.
And Chris went ahead and said that Boom is the best this season can do for him. But solid Who is Rogue, the Devil's Cord, Dot and Bubble. And who that'll do is the Church on Ruby Road, Space Babies, 73 yards. He has nothing in You Call That Who, so nothing went in that in between. But Dr. Y is that finale, even without seeing the second part of the finale. Chris is saying that y'all are not selling me on this finale. And again, I've already seen the huge majority of opinions on it, so I kind of know what I'm expecting.
You're expecting sadness, Chris.
73 yards would be higher if R2D actually put some explanations in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's the thing I have is that what could make 73 yards better?
they'd stayed in the tavern, and it had been what it looked
Yeah.
like. I was actually intrigued, and then they made fun of that concept. It's like, no. This was interesting. Play with this. Yeah, it's a trope. It's American Werewolf in London. It's all that, but that works. It works for a reason. Play with it.
I agree. It could have worked, but for me, it was still that intrigue was enough to keep me invested in the episode and wanting to watch it again. And Deshaun is saying, you can't take my fun away from me, Landry.
I live for that. That's what I'm here for.
What he's here for. And that's that. That's our rankings. I suppose it's just a shorter stream today. We've gone ahead, given our thoughts on the full season. In a couple weeks, we'll have Chris back, and we're going to decide what we'll do next week for Madmen with the Box. We want to thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and in those comments below, leave your rankings. Go ahead. Tell us the best who can do. And next week, Pixel will be alone. I hope not. I pray not. Thanks. But that's it for us tonight. Thank you. See you again soon. ALLONS-Y!
Take care, everybody.